At my sister's wedding, I was told to just stand somewhere in the back because seats are reserved for real family. Even her barber had a place card. So I advanced over, grabbed the $6,100 check off the gift table, and declared, "Then let real family pay for your honeymoon." She chased me out, shouting, "You can't back off now." I, 32M, never thought my sister's wedding would be the day I finally drew the line in the sand. Growing up, I was always the afterthought, the adopted kid who never quite measured up to blood relations. But what happened last Saturday crossed every boundary I had left. The venue was stunning. One of those expensive garden estates with white marble columns and perfectly manicured hedges. I'd helped pay for half of it, along with contributing $6,100 toward their honeymoon, money I'd scraped together from overtime shifts at my engineering job. Walking up the stone pathway in my best suit, I felt genuinely happy for my sister. Despite everything, I wanted her day to be perfect. The first red flag came when I approached the reception area. My sister's maid of honor spotted me near the entrance and walked over with that fake smile people use when they're about to deliver bad news. She informed me that seating was extremely limited and suggested I just stand somewhere in the back during the ceremony. The reception would be the same. No assigned seat. Just find a spot wherever. I felt my chest tighten, but I nodded politely. Maybe they were just overwhelmed with planning. Maybe it was an oversight. I made my way toward the back rows, scanning for any empty chairs among the sea of white folding seats adorned with silk ribbons. That's when I saw him, my sister's barber. Not just sitting, but prominently placed in the third row with an actual place card marking his reserved spot. The man who cut her hair once a month had a guaranteed seat while I, her brother of over 20 years, was relegated to standing room only. The ceremony proceeded without incident. I watched from behind a marble pillar as my sister exchanged vows, her dress catching the afternoon sunlight like something from a fairy tale. The photographer captured every moment, every smile, every tear from the seated guests. I remained invisible in my shadowed corner. During the cocktail hour, things got worse. I attempted to join conversations with relatives, but they seemed uncomfortable including me. Cousins I'd known since childhood gave polite nods before turning their attention elsewhere. The message was clear: I wasn't really part of this family gathering. The final straw came when dinner was announced. A coordinator with a clipboard approached me as guests filed into the reception hall. She explained that unfortunately, there had been some confusion with the seating arrangements, and they were still working on finding me a spot. Perhaps I could wait a few more minutes while they sorted things out. Through the doorway, I watched the barber being escorted to a prime table near the bridal party. Even the florist had a reserved seat. The wedding photographer's assistant had a place setting. But not me. Something cold settled in my stomach as the reality hit home. This wasn't an oversight or poor planning. This was deliberate. My sister had consciously decided that her brother, adopted or not, ranked below service providers in her hierarchy of importance. I walked back to the gift table, which sat elegantly arranged near the entrance. Envelopes and wrapped boxes covered the white linen surface. My contribution lay among them. A crisp, white envelope containing the check I'd written after working extra shifts for 3 months. My hands shook slightly as I located it among the pile. The envelope felt heavier than it should have, weighted with years of feeling less than, of being treated as a convenient accessory to family functions when it suited everyone else. The reception hall buzzed with laughter and conversation. Clinking glasses and cheerful toasts echoed from within while I stood alone in the hallway, holding my envelope and weighing my options. I could suck it up, find some corner to lurk in, and pretend everything was fine. Or I could finally stand up for myself. I tore open the envelope and pulled out the check. $6,100 made out to my sister and her new husband. Money earmarked for their 2-week European honeymoon. Money I'd earned through double shifts and weekend work. Money given out of love and family obligation. The decision crystallized in that moment. If I wasn't real family, then real family could handle their own expenses. I walked toward the reception hall entrance where guests were still settling into their assigned seats. The coordinator spotted me and hurried over, probably ready with another excuse about seating complications. Before she could speak, I raised my voice loud enough for the nearby tables to hear. I announced that since seats were apparently reserved for real family only, and I clearly didn't qualify for that distinction, real family could also take care of paying for the honeymoon. I held up the check, making sure several guests could see it before tearing it cleanly in half. The reaction was immediate and electric. Conversations stopped mid-sentence. Heads turned. Someone gasped audibly. The coordinator's face went pale as she realized what had just happened. My sister appeared from seemingly nowhere, her wedding dress rustling as she rushed toward me. Her face was flushed, whether from embarrassment or anger, I couldn't tell. She demanded to know what I thought I was doing, her voice rising with each word. I explained calmly that she'd made it abundantly clear where I stood in the family hierarchy. If her barber merited a reserved seat while her brother got relegated to standing room only, then perhaps her barber should contribute to the honeymoon fund instead. The surrounding guests watched our exchange like spectators at a tennis match. Some looked uncomfortable, others seemed fascinated by the drama unfolding at what was supposed to be a perfect wedding reception. My sister's new husband appeared beside her, his face tight with controlled anger. He accused me of trying to ruin their special day, of being petty and vindictive over something as trivial as seating arrangements. I let him finish before responding that there was nothing trivial about being treated like an unwanted obligation at my own sister's wedding. The seating wasn't the real issue. It was the years of being made to feel like a second-class family member coming to a head. More relatives had gathered now, forming a loose circle around our confrontation. I recognized aunts, uncles, and cousins who had witnessed decades of this dynamic playing out. Some looked guilty, others defensive. A few nodded slightly as if they understood my position. My sister's voice cracked as she insisted that I was overreacting, that the seating situation was just logistics, nothing personal. She pleaded with me to stop making a scene and just let them enjoy their wedding day. But the damage was already done, and honestly, I felt lighter than I had in years. I told her that I hoped she and her husband would be very happy together, and that her real family would help make that possible since I was apparently not part of that group. I turned to leave, walking back toward the entrance with as much dignity as I could muster. Behind me, my sister called out desperately that I couldn't back out now, that we were family regardless of the seating mess-up. Her words followed me to the parking lot, but I didn't turn around. I'd spent 32 years being the accommodating adopted brother, the one who adjusted his expectations to fit everyone else's comfort level. Today, for the first time, I'd stood up for myself. Update 1. The aftermath hit within hours. My phone started buzzing before I even made it home from the venue. Text messages, missed calls, and voicemails poured in from various family members, each with their own take on what had transpired. My parents called first, their disappointment evident even through the phone line. They insisted I had embarrassed the entire family and demanded I apologize immediately. According to them, the seating issue was a simple mistake that I'd blown completely out of proportion. I tried explaining that it wasn't really about the seat. It was about a lifetime of subtle exclusions and second-class treatment. But they weren't interested in hearing that perspective. The focus remained on my inappropriate outburst at such an important family event. My sister sent a long text message that night, alternating between anger and hurt. She claimed she had no idea I felt so excluded from the family and insisted the seating situation was purely logistical. The venue had limited space, and they tried to accommodate everyone as best they could. But when I asked her directly why her barber had a reserved seat while her brother didn't, she went silent. That question seemed to cut through all the explanations and excuses, highlighting the deliberate nature of the slight. Update 2. A week later, the extended family had chosen sides. About half supported my sister, viewing my actions as cruel and attention-seeking. They argued that weddings are stressful, mistakes happen, and I should have handled things privately rather than causing a public scene. The other half, surprisingly, reached out to express understanding. My cousin admitted she'd noticed the seating arrangement and felt uncomfortable about it, but hadn't known how to address it. An uncle mentioned that he'd observed similar dynamics at family gatherings over the years and was glad someone finally spoke up. My sister and her husband returned from their abbreviated honeymoon. Apparently, without my contribution, they'd had to scale back their plans significantly. She attempted to arrange a family meeting to work through our issues, but I declined. I'd said everything that needed saying at her wedding reception. The most telling response came from my parents, who suggested I attend family therapy to work on my abandonment issues and learn better coping strategies. The irony wasn't lost on me. Rather than examining why I felt abandoned, they wanted me to just handle abandonment more gracefully. Update 3. 3 months have passed, and the family dynamics have shifted permanently. I'm no longer automatically included in gatherings, which honestly feels like a relief rather than a punishment. The superficial pleasantries and forced interactions have been replaced with honest distance. My sister and I haven't spoken since the wedding. She sent one final text asking if I was really willing to throw away our entire relationship over one day. I responded that I wasn't the one who had thrown it away. I'd simply stopped pretending it was something it never really was. The most unexpected development has been the improvement in my mental health. For years, I'd carried anxiety around family events, never knowing if I'd be included or overlooked. Now that I've stopped trying to earn my place at a table that was never really set for me, that anxiety has disappeared. I've started spending holidays with my girlfriend's family, who welcomed me warmly from day one. The contrast is striking. With them, I'm not the adopted afterthought trying to prove my worth. I'm just another person around the dinner table, valued for who I am rather than tolerated out of obligation. Some might argue that I overreacted, that I should have given my sister the benefit of the doubt about the seating situation. But after 32 years of giving people the benefit of the doubt, while consistently being disappointed, I'd finally learned to trust my instincts about how I was being treated. The $6,100 went into my savings account instead. I used part of it to take my girlfriend on a vacation where we were both wanted guests rather than awkward obligations. The rest remains in my emergency fund, no longer promised to people who couldn't promise me basic respect in return. Looking back, I don't regret tearing up that check. It was the most expensive lesson I ever bought myself, but also the most valuable. Sometimes standing up for yourself means accepting that certain relationships aren't worth preserving, especially when they were built on unequal terms from the beginning. My sister was right about one thing. I couldn't back out now. But she'd misunderstood what I was backing out of. I wasn't abandoning family. I was finally stopping my attempts to force myself into a family role that had never truly been offered to me. There's a difference between being legally adopted and being genuinely accepted, and I'd spent decades confusing the two. The wedding gift I gave myself that day was worth far more than any honeymoon contribution. I gave myself permission to stop trying to earn love from people who had already decided I wasn't worth it. And for the first time in my adult life, I felt genuinely free. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you never miss a new upload. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.